Hello, welcome to episode 51 of Aravaipa Trail Talk. I'm Jan.
I'm Jubes.
All right, welcome guys. Thanks for tuning in live. We've got you on Instagram right here on @Aravaipa Running each and every week now. We're doing these on Tuesday afternoons when we find a quick minute.
Yeah.
We're back again. We just posted last week's show on YouTube. It might take people a minute to know that these are happening. We might even nail down a specific time each week. It's very possible.
We might get there.
So this is going to be a 20 to 30 minute show. We're going to talk about some things going on here with Aravaipa. We're going to talk about some things coming up with Aravaipa.
Sure.
And other interesting things, as well as a couple news stories that I'm going to tell you about. You may not know about these things, and we're just going to chat about it.
Most of the time, I don't know anything.
Yeah. So that's kind of the cool part about it. First thing on the agenda is my WHAM experience. Are you going to lead?
Tell me about your WHAM experience, Jam.
What is the WHAM?
Tell me what the WHAM is.
The WHAM, this is the Whistler Alpine Meadows 100 mile. It's a race that is organized by Gary Robbins. He's a Canadian gentleman.
But this is, okay, so this was your first time running in Canada.
Yeah. Second time to Canada. The first time was Niagara Falls.
Awesome.
Like maybe 15 years ago.
Great.
Did the Maid of the Mist.
Okay, and your first impressions of running.
Well, the high parts of this course, the Alpine parts of this course were spectacular. I was up there at sunrise on like the second day, and it was unbelievable. We'll be having some video footage of that. Stay tuned for a full video on it soon. But it was a spectacular course. It was truly an amazing thing. And the interesting part is I jumped in very last minute to this event.
This was your Couch to 100?
Couch to 100. I think I averaged about 18 miles a week for 6 weeks in training leading up to this event. So got in maybe one long run over at the OCC. And just, it's nice because I didn't have any pressure on myself. The goal was to suffer. The goal was to do something hard, get out of my comfort zone, and to explore a new place. And I think that's the cool thing about trail ultra running is you can use it as a way to see an area. There's no way I would have seen 100 miles of Whistler in a weekend any other way. So it was pretty cool. But it was very hard also.
And this was the inaugural year of the 100.
Yeah, so I think the fourth year of the event overall, but the first year of the 100 mile. And the first 100 mile that Gary and his crew at Coast Mountain Trail runs, well, that's their series. They're called Ridgeline Athletics, but they have a whole race organization and coaching program. So it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I guess we've been talking about this. I was on Ginger Runner Live last night, but we were talking about inaugural 100 milers, and I've done 3 of them now that they've been first year, and I think I'm drawn to do them because number one, you're kind of the inaugural class to ever do it. It's kind of cool to say you were there at the first one, and then to see how the race evolves over time. It'll be interesting to see that, but you also never know something's going to go wrong if, there's so many unforeseen things, as you know, as a race director that, you've put on first year events, I think, before, or kind of been part of that process. And, there's, even in races that you've done a bunch of times, things can pop up and happen. Course. And it's just elevated and heightened for the first year. Do
you think that you would go back and run the WHAM after there's several years of like kind of the evolution of the race? Like maybe in 10 years, are you going to go back to WHAM and run it again and see how maybe it's changed or improved? Or?
I might. If they were able to make it maybe a single loop. They had a section that was in out and back up and over Whistler Mountain, which was the most spectacular part of the course. So, if they're going to double up on anything, I'm glad it was that part. Because I saw it once in the night and once in the day. But if they were able to go into I think it was like the west side of the Whistler area, they weren't allowed to use it because of grizzly bears in the area and activity. So they had to shut it down. So we stayed on the east side. I saw one bear. It was just a black bear. So apparently they're the cool bears. that don't eat you.
How does it compare from like running a desert race? I mean, primarily, you know, you run the desert even in training, to then going high alpine, you know, shrouded in forests and high elevation and just that Canadian jewel.
Pacific Northwest vibes.
Yeah,
for sure. Like dense trees. There was this one section that had really spongy ground, moss everywhere. There's lakes. Very cool. I mean, the most prominent thing was that sunrise. There was an inversion layer of clouds. So basically, I'm up above the clouds. It's sunny out. The, you know, sunrise is coming up, and below it's just, you know, it looks like a sea of clouds of white. And then there's these glaciated peaks just popping up all over. And you're just looking around, like, what is this? Where am I? We don't see that kind of stuff here.
You wanna run like the more Canadian races? Would you go back and do more of those?
Yeah, I got invited to go do Sinister 7 and some other ones in Alberta. That there's a great group over there that puts them on. I wasn't able to make it work this year, but hopefully in the future, if it aligns, it'd be really cool to do that. So yeah, I hope there's more in my future.
Awesome.
So that's kind of the WAM recap. If you guys want to know more, check out that Ginger Runner Live episode. Yeah. Let's move into Javelina 100. Time to grill you and ask you some questions. First off, why do you have glitter on your cheeks? What's that all about?
So this weekend I went to the Full Moon Festival here in Phoenix. I'm trying to dip my toe into other festivals and other late night, just kind of crazier events, raves, things like that, to draw inspiration for Javelina. So
you just get to party for your job?
I get to party for my job.
What?
It's really just the worst. So no, it was a cool experience.
Full Moon Fest?
The Full Moon Fest was basically, I mean, it was just this collection of like raves and EDM music, and you've got like all of these art installations that local artists. You know, Burning Man was probably just at the beginning of this month, and so all these artists come back from Burning Man here in Arizona, and then they put on their art display here locally at festivals like this.
It's like Burning Man hangover.
Yeah, it's kind of that hangover Burning Man. So I wanted to go and kind of see a little bit of the art and maybe draw some inspiration and maybe make a few connections to see.
Did you find some interesting things that might make their appearance?
I did. So we'll see if those things could make an appearance at this year's Javelina.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Next up, we do want to do... This is kind of a plug, but I'm also just curious because I know there's a lot of really creative brands that are involved with Javelina this year.
Yeah.
So can we do a quick rundown of which brands are coming that are sponsoring the event? And if you are allowed to talk about anything, can you give maybe some hints or anything you can reveal about what the activations might look like? Because I know they're all trying to one-up each other right now from what I can tell.
I mean, it's so rad because we have just like the best people coming in and partnering with Javelina every year. You know, they try to step it up, and they're like, we're going to put our party pants on, or we're going to take our party pants off, and we're just going to like go for it, like full throttle. So we've got Hoka One is coming back for the third year, I believe, and they are our title sponsor for this year. They're bringing like so much color to this event, and their activation lounge is going to be bigger and better. They've got so many cool ideas. If you guys have crew, if you're runners, we've got like Friday events and Saturday events this year. So we got just a big Friday kind of party planned that will kind of precede the big party race on Saturday morning. So, and that's all Hoka, and they're bringing the party this year, so it's going to be a lot of fun. We've got Rabbit again sponsoring all of our participant shirts for all of the distances, including the 31K. They all take away a beautiful Easy Tee participant runner shirt. So, like, softest shirts in the world. You guys are going to love them. We've got Goo. God, these guys are hilarious. We got to hang out with these guys in Chamonix over at UTMB, and oh my gosh, Goo, like they bring the energy.
So much energy, it's wild.
So much energy. And I mean, it's appropriate, right? So it's Goo Energy Labs, and they know how to just kind of inject fun and hilarity into everything that they do. So
they're going to have some new products. I don't know if we can talk about it, but there's going to have some tastings of some new product, a new product line, a new brand that they're going to have at the race.
Yeah, and they're going to be at the expo, so they're partnering at the expo too. So you guys got to check out all the guys at GOO.
Some good eats over at their booth this year.
For sure. New to this year, which I'm really stoked about, and we talked a little bit about this last episode, Gooder is on board, and I am so stoked for this partnership because this team has absolutely been hilarious to work with. They are so excited. They have so many things planned for you guys that they're activating and initiating on their own out in the desert. So look for Gooder.
You won't miss them.
You won't.
That's for sure.
You can't miss them. Like they're just a bundle of joy, and it's hilarious to be able to bring them on to.
And if you want to see the Gooder Javelina collab glasses, we had them in last week's show.
Yeah.
And we will have a limited amount of them for sale at the expo only.
Yeah.
So
they sold out online, but they will be available at the expo. So if you guys saw those glasses, you want those glasses, you want to, be all styling, then please come to the expo. Check out Gooder because they'll be there, and they've got actually Halloween glasses too that they're going to.
They're dropping in Halloween glasses, so check that out too if you miss out on the Javelina ones. Yeah.
It's gonna be good. Kogala Raw Adventure Lights. I like every time I use this light, it gets better and better.
It's so good.
Because it's not just it's an adventure light, right? So I've used it for hiking, I've used it for running, and then I've also used it for the adventure photography, and it has
I was using
elevated my photography. It's unbelievable.
I was using it for video at Mogollon, and it's pitch dark out there, and I'm using my camera, which doesn't do great at low light, and it's just going right up the trail with these guys. And I used the light at Wham this weekend, and every comment is like,
they saw you coming.
What is that light?
Yeah.
It's great.
If you guys don't know what Kogala is, please check out their booth at the expo and then also on site. This is a full moon event, or not full moon, a new moon event this year at Javelina. So that means you guys are running in the dark. So right in the middle of the desert when there's nothing out there but just you, it's going to be pitch black in the night. So if you guys want a little juice, a little party to your light, check out Kogala. This just happened, which is totally, I'm stoked about. Nathan is coming to Javelina. They just let us know, and so they are on board for this year at the expo and also at the store or at the main headquarters. So Nathan hydration packs and all of the goodness, they're going to bring all of that to Javelina as well this year. And then, my favorite, Jube's Lube. If you guys don't know what that is, that's squirrel's nut butter. Hilarious. Look for the big giant squirrel, and he'll take care of all of your chafing needs. It's serious. Love them. And then, I don't know if you guys saw these last year, but Splats is back. Splats is back. They've got individual packeted sunscreen that you can take. It's just like a goo, but it's not a goo.
Don't eat it.
So don't eat it.
Please don't eat it.
Please don't eat it. Have your goos in one pocket, maybe Splats in another pocket. But the key thing at a desert race is not only to apply your sunscreen, but reapply and reapply and reapply again. So Splats is perfect for that. So everybody's going to get a little bit of Splats in the packet.
Cool. That was a great recap. One more exciting piece of news for Javelina 100 is...
we're on Instagram! Ta-da!
Yay!
No, okay, so if you guys look for at Javelina 100,
we just launched it today.
So go
on
Instagram. So.
At Javelina 100. That's with J's. We pronounce the J's as H's, H's as J's. Keep it hot. Keep it shot.
Keep it something. But yeah, follow us on Instagram. If you guys are looking and you can't join us this year for Javelina 100, that is where our story and all of our activation, all of our media is going to be filtered through Javelina this year.
Yeah, we're starting to pump it up right now. So over the next month, we're going to try and put a lot of some past year's great memories and probably some video clips.
Yeah.
So be sure to follow along there. It's going to be exciting. A couple things to look forward or just general Aravaipa news that we want to get out into the world. because I know you guys are here to stay up to date with everything we have going on. First off, Flagstaff Sky Peaks update. This is a race in Flagstaff, Arizona, and it's coming up, not this weekend, but a week from Saturday. And we've got a bit of a change this year. 50-mile runners, you guys are ringing the entire San Francisco Peaks. It's a single 50-mile loop now, which we launched last year. It's really exciting. There is going to be one change, which will go out into your email inboxes today. Due to some scheduling with Arizona Snow Bowl and their increased wedding business, we are moving the 50-mile distance down to the base of Snow Bowl right off of the highway. We're going to be at the Arizona Hot Shots camp for the start-finish of the 50-mile. Everyone else will still be at the top. It'll be kind of cool because you'll get the big climb out of the way right at the beginning of the race.
Nice.
And you get to kind of cruise on into the finish. But we're excited to be back up in Flagstaff for the fall colors. I can't wait to be up there.
I love that race. That was such a blast last year.
Yeah, it's going to be rad. One more piece of news. We have, I guess, a departure from our company to report. Derek Lytle, he's been our videographer for this entire year. He's going to be moving on to some other opportunities. He's got just so many incredible travel opportunities with different brands. I think he's in Scotland right now doing some stuff. So we've had a really great time working with Derek. We want to shout out to him as he continues on, and I'm sure we'll see him around at some events here and there. Yeah. I don't think he's moving from Phoenix, but
no, he's a Southwest guy, like
he's
through
sticking,
and through.
He's sticking in the area. So
he's a busy dude.
With that being said, if there are any video creators out there that are watching this and you want to maybe work with Aravaipa at some point on either an individual event or idea or something, reach out. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to see your work and see if we can collab at some point. We're always looking for talented people, so keep that in mind. Send us a direct message at any time. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Ultra news. This is kind of like in the world that's going on. So I saw this pop up. There's this this tweet I saw. It says the UCI, which is I think it's the United Cycling. I don't know what it stands for. It's cycling, International Cycling Organization. They have a war on long socks at the World Championship. So this guy is literally measuring with a caliper the length of the guy's sock, and it was too long. So he's making him inch it down so it's the proper length in between your like calf and knee. What?
Like wait. So just on long socks, like they can be too long, but what, not too short?
Yes.
Or is it
they can only be so long before it is banned and illegal.
But why would it be?
I don't know. I
think like if I'm wearing like thigh highs, in my biking endeavors,
it might be an aerodynamic thing, kind of like the skin suits for swimming. But then again, they're allowed to wear like the aero helmets and like the rest of the suit, so why stop at the socks?
I mean, clearly.
It just feels like a direct attack on fashion? Ultra runners wearing long shorts,
Is
that's
it?
All I'm saying.
Is that where
we're
going
next?
It's
an indirect attack. I'm just scared that's where it's going. So, I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I mean,
banning long socks?
I think it's a little silly.
Is this,
like I don't know whether it would be helpful or not to wear a different length of sock.
To get people I just don't less concerned about doping.
You guys educate us. If you know why in the world sock length matters, tell me, because I don't know.
This next one, world's fastest marathon.
Go on.
So there's this Breaking 2. I think it's coming up in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So there's this record. And all of a sudden this marathon popped up proclaiming it's the world's fastest marathon on their website. It says it's fast, unbelievably fast, perhaps the world's fastest. And it's just a ridiculous downhill marathon, I think somewhere in Grenada. It has 6,358 feet of descent in a marathon.
God, that's just a quad bump. Like, that's just that. Oh, God.
Which, in reality, that sounds maybe likely on paper, but the pounding on your legs, it's actually worse.
Oh, God. My quads would just blow up.
So
in like 2 miles.
I think they're trying to steal. They're trying to. It's a marketing ploy, and look, we're talking about it.
Yeah.
So, but
Great
these guys,
job.
they're in Spain. They got the world's fastest marathon. They got a little logo, and they got some really fast guys from Kenya to show up, and I think a bunch of Spanish runners.
Okay.
And they were trying to slip in under that sub 2 before it happens in a couple weeks.
And
it was a disaster. The first
Fastest
one of the guys that was a favorite, Anthony Maina from Kenya, he ran a 2:09:38.
Okay.
Not great, but not even close.
No.
Not even 2:02. Just, and the other guy, the bib number 1, Julius, he ran a 2:43.
No.
Everyone else in the field ran a 2:37 up to 3:01. So. Also, the Mount Lemmon Marathon is basically the same thing, and it's right here in Tucson.
The Tucson? The Tucson Marathon that happens in December?
Different.
That's different.
Yeah, the Mount Lemmon one, it starts at the top of Mount Lemmon and goes
goes
6,000 feet downhill.
Yeah, so essentially...
And it's not as if those times were extremely fast, because the pounding is insane.
Yeah.
So, that's our news for the week. We're going to go into Q&A now. AK Trail Runner, hey guys, hope all is well, and Jamil's healing up from Wham. I actually am doing quite well. How do you spell the name of the light company?
Kogalla.
Kogalla. Kogalla.
Yep.
We got Iron Man Dad. What's the projected heat for the Javelina 100?
I mean, so in the past, it's been anywhere from mid to low 80s to the 90s. So hopefully, within the trending, it's going to sit around 86, 87, 88, 89-ish. Which is still, don't let it fool you, it's still really, really hot when you're running exposed in the sun with no shade. So, yeah, I think regardless, if it's in the 80s, it's going to be hot. If it's in the 90s, oh, dear.
Yeah. We'll have plenty of ice and everything. And we just had a nice cool down, actually, this weekend.
I know, it was great.
Yeah, we've had some crazy thunderstorms last night. Yeah. It's dropping a lot of rain, so... You never know. Hopefully that greens up the desert a little bit.
God,
I think they got 3 or 4 inches out of the park.
Awesome.
Sick. Michael James 38. Have you guys thought about doing an event in Las Vegas? No?
No.
I don't think so. We haven't yet. J Hawksinsta. Jam, what shoes did you wear for Wham? I wore the Salomon Ultra Pro, which is it's kind of a version of the S-Lab Ultra 2, which is Francois' shoe. Same shoe I wore at Tahoe 200. It's a great shoe. My feet feel great. Katie DeSantos, do we still need volunteers for Javelina 100?
Yes, we do.
Where can they help and where can they go to find out more?
If you go to the website, there's a whole tab that says volunteer. You scroll down a little bit, it says, sign me up right now, or even on the main page, it says, volunteer here. We always need good volunteers for Javelina, and it just you can just help all week if you would want to. From setting up to breaking down to just all of the goodness and the party in the middle. We need help everywhere.
Ironman Dad, what would you recommend when you say sauna training? Suggestions?
Sauna training?
Yeah. I would say, I think what people do, especially if you live in colder climates, this time of year, we just hit fall, it's starting to snow. Getting into a sauna, just going in there for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour a day, keeping any summer heat acclimation you may have obtained, keeping that going. Yep. I think it's important. You want to, because we're still going to be roasting down here for the next month and a half. So
I knew a couple guys who went into the sauna and they moved. So they moved for 30 minutes. They would go in and like little jogs or just however they dance. It was hilarious. But yeah, movement in a sauna too, just to
trying to get the heart rate up again.
Yep.
A little bit.
So
Chad Bowen, why are there no ultra trail races in Sedona? Possibility of Aravaipa bringing any there. Currently, it's because they won't permit anything. Yeah. We've tried, but we hope that at some point they will open some access for it. We've got some ideas in mind, some courses in mind. We're just kind of waiting for the permit opportunities to open up. Yep. But there's a lot of other great areas in Arizona to run. Abacus Fitness and Theory, would you recommend ice baths post-run?
Do you ice bath?
I don't. I prefer to sit in a hot tub if I have access to it, but yeah, I don't know. I think I don't know all the science behind it currently, like the latest, but I think people are saying to get away from that a little bit, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, I could be wrong, but I think, like if your body's inflamed, sometimes the hot and cold, back and forth can increase circulation and blood flow, which could be good, but I think on a day-to-day, I don't know that it's necessary.
I don't know if it's necessary day-to-day, but for me, if I do a long run, just because I nurse injury a little bit, if my foot is bothering me coming off the run, then I ice it. Or I put it in like a bucket of ice. It's mostly like local, I don't do a whole ice bath, but like local therapy, I guess.
The Run Wild says, Backyard Ultra for 2020. I have a site in Southwest AZ. Who is down? I'll DM you info. Cool. We're doing a last person standing event at Across the Years. So it's a little bit of a twist on the traditional one. It's going to be on a 1 mile loop. So you have to start every 15 minutes. If you're interested in that, I might participate. Possibly. I've been thinking about it lately. And be the master of ceremonies for it.
I was going to say, like,
I think I'm going to do both.
You're running it.
I think I'm going to do both.
You're going to run it and run it?
I don't know. Maybe not. Sometimes when you're tired and you're running wham, you have really smart ideas.
Most of the things that we think of are born out of sleep debt.
Surzy Strep, I'm sure you've heard this many times. Are there any more Gooder Javelina 100 shades being sold online?
Not online. So right now that is cut off, but we do have more going to the expo, and then even I think a few more we're reserving for the Aravaipa store at headquarters at Javelina on the day of the race.
Ironman Dad, thank you for answering questions. Is there a lot of soft sand where we need gaiters?
At Javelina? No, there's
a little bit.
There's a little bit through the washes, but not so much that you're going to be like emptying out your shoes on a constant basis. Though there are like smaller rocks and little pebbles and things like that because it's crushed gravel for the majority of the trail. Gators I think help.
Yeah,
especially on that distance.
If you are not used to the desert, I think the comments we get is it's a very hard surface. Yeah. Because it's like crushed rock you're running on, and then there are sand. You're crossing hundreds of little tiny micro washes. Washes. Some have a little sand, but mostly it's a pretty packed trail. Even if it rains, it holds its form. There's only one little muddy section.
So, you can expect like little bits of gravel and things like that to get in your shoe if you don't wear gaiters. So I would recommend them, yeah.
Run John Run, when does registration open for the next Mogollon Monster? So we typically like to open our races 10 months out. So I guess that would be middle of December. It might be January 1st. Mm-hmm. Pima Pilates, who's going to be taking pics at JJ if Happy Jubilee is RD, or is she doing both?
Can I do both? I might not be able to do both. Actually, so we have Howie Stern out at Javelina. We've had him for the last couple years, and he takes such beautiful photos. So he's going to be coming out to Javelina once more.
All right, that about wraps it up. If you have any last questions, we'll answer them. Otherwise, we have a sneak. We always like to tease you in this show. So our teaser this week is we're moving.
Yeah!
We're not going to say where or what's going on, but
we're moving to the Ox. Just say it.
We're moving to McDowell Mountain Regional Park. We're just setting up camp. We're never leaving.
We're never going to go.
And you can't kick us out.
Yeah.
Maricopa County. Just kidding.
Nope.
So our office is moving. We will no longer be here very soon. We will have more info to share on that soon. But yeah, I call this building Aravaipa. I'm like, got this little whole thing in mind.
Aww.
It's like building Aravaipa. We're building it up, kind of better than ever.
Aww.
It's really exciting. Super pumped. Really can't believe this is happening. It's going to be amazing. Stay tuned. It's kind of the next phase of the Aravaipa family and the Aravaipa movement. So it's going to be exciting.
I'm excited.
You going to be around for the ride?
Well, yeah.
Going to be a good one?
Yeah.
Stay tuned for more of that coming soon. We've got a couple more questions. We're going to wrap this up.
Mm-hmm.
Is a month a good amount of time to taper for a 100-mile race? Yes, I think 3 weeks probably sufficient. I usually like to do my last long run 3 weeks out. Can we register for Mogollon Monster if we are running our qualifier before the Mogollon Monster?
Technically, yes.
As long as you get it by the date that it says on next year's registration. Cole Rodriguez, see you at the McDowell Mountain Frenzy all the way from Australia.
Cool.
That's a great way to end it.
That's awesome.
We'll see you in December. Thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. We'll be back next week. You can always reach us. I'm at Jamil Curry on Instagram.
At Happy Jubilee.
Check out her amazing photos.
There you go.
And we'll see you next week. Bye.
See ya.